a thug, I'm a shooter. Ja, you not about that life. And it's okay. You shouldn't want to be about the skip. I got $200 million. Who wants to be a shooter if you got $200 million? Shooters ain't got that kind of money. That's why they do that. They try to come up. They chose the life that they're in. You chose the life that you're in. You can't mix those two and come out unscathed. At some point in time, it will catch up with you, Ja.
Today's video is brought to you by SKILLSHARE, the #1 online learning community for creators. Use the link in the description section below to start your learning experience today. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? In the year 2023, the almighty COE is the #1 priority for most businesses and anyone pushing a brand, narrative, agenda, or likeness. For those unfamiliar with COE, it stands for content over everything. In the world of monetization, clicks, views, likes, and comments reign supreme. Participating in the game of COE with the constant saturation and competition, some people find themselves willing to compromise their morals, principles, and natural upbringing. Within this compromise, it is easy to get carried away, caught up in loss. The feeling of youthful invincibility is a powerful thing. In the entertainment business, imagery is king. Gifting consumers with an alluring character that they can gravitate towards or aspire to be is golden. We see it all of the time within the hip-hop community. The nice cars and the guns, the luxurious mansions and the guns, the oversized and overpriced jewelry and the guns, the piles of money and the guns, and the most beautifully crafted, appealing, and attractive women in the world. And did I forget to mention the guns? You see, for some weird reason, many people seem to believe that flashing a gun instills fear into those who may want to cause them any harm or ill will. That having a firearm automatically means that you're protected, and that if anyone were to speak negatively about them, they will be hesitant and fearful of the consequences. Because you have a gun, of course. As if a gun is some type of force field or shield. Now, the initial thought is kind of legit. Having or flashing a gun does make some people feel fear. But a wise person told me that a coward will kill you faster than anyone else. Plus the enormous amounts of guns on the streets here in America, the fact that you have one means absolutely nothing. Well, why is this? Because everyone else has one too. With all that being said, the youth have always and forever will be vulnerably impressionable. We can sit around ruminating and contemplating on what our kids are doing and thinking. But to me, it's simple. They are constantly watching their favorite rappers, entertainers, actors, actresses, and athletes with the desire to be accepted, praised, and respected amongst their peers. Teens and young adults tend to adopt the characteristics of those who they have access to, relate to, and they admire. The constant availability of social interaction with celebrities make this very easy to do today. Ja Morant is one of the most extraordinary and electrifying athletes in the National Basketball Association. Young, talented, and wealthy. The belief that once you have made it as a professional athlete, you should automatically spring forward into adulthood and have the ability to always make sound decisions is quite ambitious in my opinion. I was told a very long time ago that money or wealth simply allowed you to be and express more of who and what you are. The more access to resources, you become more emboldened to let the person you want the world to see you as take center stage. In the past few months, there have been many instances where the theme has been very consistent when it comes to the young superstar. The first that came to light was reported on February 5th, 2023. The incident with some of the members of the Indiana Pacers traveling party. They believe that a vehicle occupied by Ja and some of his acquaintances trained a red laser at them. With this being the beautiful country that proudly represents the Second Amendment as if it's gospel, we all know the implications. A red dot automatically means beam on a gun, especially coming from a slow-moving vehicle. About a month after this incident, it was reported that the superstar got into a fight at his own residence with a teenager, walked into his home, once again, grabbing his gun. Even though I can completely understand how something like this can happen, the fact remains that once again, the image expressed was the threat of a gun being used. In my opinion, as an act of defiance and rebelliousness, just 3 days later, after getting humiliated by the Denver Nuggets in blowout fashion, we see the young superstar once again on his IG Live in a strip club, no less, brandishing a gun. A little ass pea shooter at that. Don't get me wrong, you can still hurt and possibly kill someone with that, but I would have been ashamed to show that little piece. Pun intended, right? With all that being said, I go back to the main point that it's all about imagery. There is clear intention to let it be known that he carries his gun and doesn't care what anyone thinks about it. He is a young, black, impressionable adult who has grown up in a society that videotapes guns, money, and the turn up all day, every day. The fact that he was suspended and went to some fake ass therapy retreat for a week, that hasn't changed anything. Removing himself from all social media, his interview with Jalen Rose, and everything else is only a media campaign, a PR push to try and change the narrative. Now, the OGs don't want him to fumble the bag, but it's going to be up to Ja and what he wants his overall legacy and image to be. There's no way in the world he's figured that out in a week. In a world that constantly presses guns, guns, and more guns, along with the almighty COE, Ja Morant and his little piece isn't really the problem. He's simply the expression of a symptom. The main problem that we fail to address is the almighty and untouchable gun. Deuces.
What has it been like for you to discover how to manage it and give them some advice on how they can manage it in their own lives?
I feel like you're just starting off by saying talk to somebody. You don't have to be afraid. It doesn't make you soft. It doesn't make you weak to, express your feelings to somebody. And I feel like that's what I had to learn. I always was the type to, keep everything in and bottle it up, not comfortable, talking to somebody about, what's going on in my life. And I feel like as a pro, some people don't realize that it's a lot on our plate. For me being, I'm 23, I'm starting at a young age. Came in young, turned into a provider. I turned into a father, pretty much the breadwinner, of my family. So it's, it's a lot on my plate outside of, day-to-day life. And, I had to learn that, and I learned that, my time away, that, it's okay to, express your feelings and, talk to somebody. And I encourage, everybody who's going through, what I'm going through, who's dealing with stress, anxiety, to, go talk to somebody.